One of the bucket list things I've had as a filmmaker is to make a green screen movie for some reason. I don't know what it is about that. I remember seeing Robert Rodriguez's Sin City and just falling in love with that movie. And so once I did, I was like, I want to do something like this that can be told in a stylized way and can be made for, very, very little resources. And I looked at that medium of doing like a green screen stylized comic book look, and I didn't want to do it just for the sake of it. I wanted a story that kind of worked within the realms of the aesthetic. And so knowing that, we were going to do a noir film fit that sort of feeling, I guess, that I wanted to create.
Here's the chippy in the slinky black dress. Not your wife, that's for sure.
It basically just started as a very long conversation between Ab and I about genre and style and things we wanted to accomplish. I've always had a strong love for film noir, specifically kind of like the very hard-boiled, stylized dialogue. It's always kind of a sandbox I wanted to play in.
Representative Tyler is no red, if that's what you're insinuating. And I won't have one of my reporters wasting valuable time and valuable resources on wild goose chases and half-baked slander. Stick to the stories you're assigned, or I'll get a reporter who will.
So we started figuring out typical tropes of film noir and how we could kind of play with that and subvert expectations.
The original story came from the idea of this woman who is a journalist who's looking for the truth, who stumbles upon something crazy, supernatural. And at the time, we didn't know what it was. We didn't know if it was codes for a nuclear bomb or if it was like the Oracle or some sort of godlike item. And things just kind of took off from there. That's where Bo brought in his extraordinary talents and knowledge and geekdom and went to town on filling in all the holes to the story. So something like this, and it's okay if we see lights in the shot, because remember, she's getting cut out like that.
I think the green screen, it hits a certain level of like the uncanny valley when you're watching it, because you automatically know something's not right, and it puts the audience just a little uneasy. It kind of helps get them in the mood for this story where things are going to get weird.
You're...
A commie? No, Megan Elizabeth Mahoney, I am not a communist.
What are you?
So what we're doing is we're taking characters in a real environment, that we're cutting out the background and replacing it with a virtual background that we can create in any environment that we want. The lighting is sort of the key to making it all look convincing. So you have to know what your background's going to be, and you have to match the lighting to whatever that background's going to be. If you light someone with a dark sort of moody look, and then you put in an outside photo of San Francisco with sunlight beaming in from all over the place, it's not going to match up story-wise. So it's about being very cognizant of the shot that you want to get before you actually go to create the scene. This film was literally made with one camera, green screen in my basement. It was about 300 square feet of space, a couple of lights, and sound equipment. It very much a bare bones thing, but we had practice doing this and sort of knew, I guess, what would work.
The shoot ended up going longer than we had anticipated. You're doing a short film where nobody's getting paid and everyone's being there when they can. I know we lost, there were some times when talent couldn't be there and we had to shoot around their schedule.
And action.
And that's one of the benefits of having a green screen is there are times when we had to shoot people individually and then push them together on screen, and you never know, they weren't in the same scene together.
Yeah, we missed one shot of the main character punching the other. We called her in the next day and we had her punch me, and then I just covered myself up with a piece of green so I wouldn't overlap with her, and she just pretended I was the bad guy, and that's how we got around certain stuff like that. So yeah, I think the the genre and the aesthetic afforded us a bit of flexibility there. To me, at least, what I've learned in film school and how we sort of approach the topic is that the movies are based on like this very delineated idea of morality. So you have good and evil, not much gray. That's what inspired the look. I think if there's a moment where, you're dealing with something morally ambiguous, then we see color, we see a whole range of different light values in the film. We wanted the morality to be complicated.
I don't think we were ever worried about, going too far. Everybody will come into the film with their own personal kind of baggage, and they'll see what they want in the movie and take away certain things. As far as trying to, push the envelope, I don't think that was ever an intention. I know we always just want to try and put out what's the best film and best thing that suits the story.
And that goes back to what I was saying, like, we're not doing it for the sake of doing it. We want to make sure the story that we're telling and the themes go along with that. In fact, I was like, how do we push it even further?